The Swimming World Championships 2025 have started. Singapore is hosting this edition, and it is my mission to bring you as much content as I physically can this week so that you stay up to date with the Worlds and every happening that goes on out there. Every morning I'm going to be bringing you a heat recap session. Every final session I'm going to be doing a live talk show, and then I'm going to be following that up with a finals recap session on YouTube as well. So if you want to make sure you're catching all of the action and you're not missing a swim, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. But it's really early for me. Heats are happening at 3 a.m. for my local time. I'm in the UK and the World Championships are in Singapore. The finals are much more palatable at 12. And if you are in the UK and want to watch this, we have a live stream on both the Eurovision Sport app and the Aquatics GB website. And if you are from further abroad, I don't know what your streaming option will be, but one option I do know is set a VPN to the UK and use the options I just provided. Beyond that, I'm going to bring you a pretty rapid fire summary of what happened this morning, because there was nothing too crazy. I think there was only two obvious misses in my mind, and everyone you was expecting beyond that to get to a semi-final or final did just that. We started with the women's 200 IM, where the first seed was Australia's Torri going to 209.4. Considering this event is going to probably be won in 205 with medals coming in the 206 to 207 low range, 209 in the morning was pretty pedestrian. We had three other 209s from Summer McIntosh, the obvious favourite and world record holder, Alex Walsh from the USA, and of course Mary Sophie Harvey, who I worked with when I was serving some time with the Energy Standard team during the ISL. We did have two Chinese athletes make the semi-final, Yu Ting, but more notably Yu Zidi, the 12-year-old who just sneaked in a 15th place. The other notable sort of observation I made was that we had a tied 16th. So we had a swim off for the final, which Spain's Emma Carrasco won in a time of 2:12.21 to beat out Slovakia's Tamara Potocka. We then moved on to the men's 400 freestyle, where we had the first obvious miss of this World Championships, and that was Elijah Winnington not making it back. Elijah finished 10th with a 3:46.3, just adrift of the 3:45.88 swum by Marco D'Itaglio that was needed to make the final in this event. Other notable misses were Lucas Henvo, Daniel Whiffin, and all the way back in 36th was Luka Micocevic, the young teenage phenom from the USA, who went at 3:59.68, which is probably about PB plus 14. Now, I know he was swimming pretty quick at like an age group meet about a week ago, and it does give me a sneaky suspicion that maybe he was one of the athletes on the America team who was hit pretty bad with some food poisoning on their training camp in Thailand. Both GB and USA went to Thanyapura for their training camp, which is a brilliant facility, and you may recognize from some of my videos because I was there in, I think, March this year, and it's beautiful 50-meter pool, beautiful 25-meter pool, wonderful gym, a great smoothie bar and poolside, but both me and my girlfriend did suffer some pretty nasty food poisoning on our last night there, where we had eaten exclusively at the resort. So unfortunately, it might be something to do with the resort, and I'm not trying to go out my way to ruin all Thanyapura's business. The first seed in the men's 400 freestyle was very aggressive for a morning swim. Sam Short has the first seed into the final. He'll be occupying lane 4 with a crazy fast 3:42.07. And when I done my live show about a week ago, Reese, my co-commentator, did predict we'd have two sub 340s in the final, being both Sam Short and Lukas Martens, and they are, of course, the first two seeds. I don't want to say worry, but reservation might be that Sam went a little faster than he needed to go this morning, considering he has the first seed by 1.8 seconds. But something that some athletes miss when it gets to a championship meet, it is most important just to get a second swim. And sometimes it's just as hard to hold back a little bit. Moving into the women's 100 butterfly, and there really isn't anything I'm massively noticing. Gretchen Walsh is the first seed to the final with a 0.81 lead over Angelina Kohler in second, 55.68 to 56.49. It's kind of crazy that 55.68 is a crazy fast time and would have been peppering the world record about 2 years ago. And now because of Gretchen's amazing ascent in this event, we're now like, only a 55.68. Yeah, fair enough. 16th was much slower, 2.6 seconds back. It was Constanza from Italy with 58.31. That was the cutoff, and it does show we have a lack of depth, in my opinion, in this event, that the range in that final is going to be so big. Then we followed that with the men's 50 fly, where there was, in my opinion, much less range. A 0.54 range from range? It's really early here, just to clarify that. We had a 0.54 range in the 50 butterfly men's with a 22.74 all the way down to 16th, which was a 23.28 from Luca Armbuster. The first seed was both Maxime Grousset and Noé Ponte, and just behind them was Ilya Karun. And these three men are my tips for the medal. So I think maybe this is just a sign of things to come, but there's some super fast guys just behind them with Diogo Ribeiro, Niels Castange, and of course GB's Ben Proud, who is an ex-world champion in this event and has been really enjoying a return to the 50 butterfly. Now it's an Olympic event. I wouldn't write him off in the final. The women's 400 freestyle was all business for the women you'd expect. Katie Ledecky first, 4.010. Lani Pallister second, 4.02. Binji Lee tied third with Summer McIntosh in 4.031. Summer, of course, has the 2 IM heat today, the 4.3 heat, the 2 IM semi, and then the 4.3 final. So a slightly busier schedule. So no surprise to see her being 9 seconds off her world record and having to swim much more reserved because she's got a big schedule this week. 8th place was Maya Werner with a 4.067. And the only obvious miss was Claire Weinstein and Erica Fairweather. Erica Fairweather was disqualified while Claire Weinstein just did not start. Another concern that maybe her, along with Luca, was one of the ones suffering from food poisoning. I didn't mention the women's 100 butterfly, but Torri Huske, the defending Olympic champion, opted out of this event to focus on the women's 4x1 freestyle relay later today, where she will swim the final, having not swum the heat. Moving on to the men's 100 breaststroke, and we can already say that this pool is quicker than the Paris Olympic pool because the breaststroke event was the one that was really concerning a year ago with some super slow times. This is a 3-meter deep pool, and that showed because the top 4 heat swims were equal to or faster than what won the Olympics last year. Kirill Prigode was 58.5. Lukas Matsarev was 58.7. The defending Olympic champion Nicolo Martineggi was 58.8. And Casper Korba of the Netherlands was 4th in 59.03. To clarify, 59.03 is the time that Nicolo went to win the Paris Olympics. Other than that, we had all the players make it back. Chin Hyang in 5th. Josh Matheny from the USA, along with his young teammate Marcus Campbell McKeon in 15th. The other person I would say to look out for is Ludovico Vaberti, who was 9th with a 59.5. But here's the Italian swimmer who had that phenomenal 26.250 breaststroke at Seti Colli, but won't be swimming the 50 breaststroke at this meet, just the 100. That brings us to the relays, where on the women's side, it was all business. USA miles ahead with a 3:33.57. And the big notable split for them was Kate Douglas, who went an unnecessarily fast 52.0 on the second leg with a very reserved, conservative 0.37 takeover. I think Kate could be really on this meet if this 52.0 is anything to go by. And if she goes quicker tonight, we could be seeing one of the fastest splits of all time. I think the fastest split of all time, if I'm not mistaken, is Kate Campbell's 50.9 a few years back now. Australia made it back comfortably, although their team is a far cry off the world record-setting team back in 2023. That was 3:27. Beyond that, the only obvious misses was Canada, who did not make it back. They were half a second off the Hungarian team, who were 8th, and their team was much lighter than they would have probably hoped, especially with Penny Alexiak having to withdraw due to her suspension, voluntary suspension for missing 3 drugs tests. Finally, we had the men's 4x100 freestyle relay, and I really think we're in a position to see this world record finally go tonight. This is a 2008 Beijing world record. It was a very legendary world record with Michael Phelps leading off in 47.5 and Jason Lazak anchoring in 46.06. And the American team this morning was fast. Shane Cassis led off in 48.5, but then they had a 7.5 from Kulo, a 7.6 from Lasco, and a 7.4 from Patrick Salmon. They have a small marginal lead going into the final over the Australian team, who had a 47.5 from Chalmers and Kai Taylor. And the most other notable splits I have seen would be the 47.7 from Panjan Lee. Notable because of it being Pan, more so than being incredibly fast. We had Italy Lee led off in a 47.9 from Carlos de Ambrosio, who is a swimmer I honestly hadn't heard of coming into this, and that must be a PB. Nando Nemeth from Hungary led off in 47.8. And the biggest miss from the final would be ninth place, the Neutral Athletes B, also known as Russia team, who, well, were 0.1 off Lithuania to get a second swim. They had Clement Klesnikov lead them off in a 48.5, which is a far cry from his PB of 47.1. That sums up the morning heats, day one of the World Championships in Singapore. The finals are in about 6 hours' time. They're at 12 midday British summer time. We will be going live. We'll have some great guests. We will be having a lot of fun interacting with you guys in the comments. So make sure you come and tune in for that. And then, of course, I'll be doing another one of these for the finals recap so that you can just, you can be driving to work this morning and you can know what was happening at the World Championships. I hope you enjoyed this little recap. Thanks for watching. If you did, like, subscribe so you can not miss any of the World Championships content coming. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.